Trasgu are impish little creatures. They are not really desirable for the homeowner, but are not malevolent like the Bogart. Trasgu can be mischievous and troublesome, but can also be helpful depending on their individual characters and how they are treated. They are said to have originated in northern Spain, but are also spoken of in old Celtic mythology. They have a strong preference for old houses, particularly old mansions with many large rooms. But once they have moved into a home, they will start to consider themselves a part of the family and will follow the family to any kind of home they move to. They are unique among house spirits because they live outside and only enter your home at night. They are also the most likely to appear to the homeowner and may even talk to the family members. They tend to prefer temperate or tropical zones, as extreme cold will make it hard for them to spend their days out of doors. Physical characteristics. Trasgu are odd-looking. They have long faces and noses, aquiline features, and appear slightly rat-like in appearance. They tend to have grayish or ruddy red skin and lanky, tapered legs and arms. They are between 1 foot, 30 centimeters, and 2 feet, 60 centimeters tall. They have long, slender bodies and a long, thin tail. They always wear either a long, dark coat or a dark dress. Their ears are long and animal-like, and they usually perch a small cap on their head. Although their appearance is always along these lines, they vary considerably on the specifics. Sometimes their ears will be sheep-like or cat-like, or like any variety of animals. They may sometimes have horns, especially if their ears are similar to a horned creature, such as a sheep or goat. Their faces are always long, but their appearance and facial features vary. Some Trasgus are horribly ugly, and some are actually quite attractive, with fine and elegant features. Trasgus are either female or male, although it is sometimes hard to distinguish the gender. Although Trasgus wear either coats or dresses, Trasgu culture does not have gender-specific clothing. Female Trasgus may wear coats and males may wear dresses. Trasgu feet are also animal-like, but vary between individuals. Sometimes they will appear cat-like, goat-like, or any other animal you could conceive of. Their strangest physical characteristic is the fact they always have a big hole in both their hands. This seems to be a natural characteristic of Trasgus and is not a deformity. As a result, Trasgus cannot cup anything in their hands the way humans do. Trasgus are thought to be immortal because they have never been known to die or grow older. This can be confirmed by the fact that they have followed families for generations without changing. Special powers. The Trasgus are mysterious beings, but they are not known to have any particular magical powers. Their powers are odd and amazing, but they are all natural abilities. They have the ability to run fast and jump very high like acrobats. They will always be perfectly silent. The quiet stealth of their movements are amply compensated for, however, by the noisy chatter from their mouths. Unlike a lot of other spirits, Trasgus are very vocal. They are extremely talkative and will usually talk to themselves. But they will also talk to family members. They will usually talk from a place of concealment, but will occasionally do so face to face, depending on the disposition of the Trasgu and how much it likes you. Trasgus may come to like your family so much that they will meet them frequently for a chat. Because it has come to see itself as part of the family, it considers it perfectly natural to converse with you and your family. For seekers of the weird and unusual, this makes Trasgus the ideal house spirit because you are sure to see and hear things when a Trasgu is in your home. Some families have formed close bonds with Trasgus, have lasted generations. These secret relationships always remain a family secret, however, because a Trasgu is always a family-oriented creature and will never under any circumstances appear to anyone who is not a blood relative. They do have a great ability to avoid being seen, but this is probably not a magical ability. It is thought to be mostly due to their stealth and their excellent hearing. Trasgus also have great skills of mimicry and can mimic any noise, from the call of a bird to the spilling of water to the sound of your child crying. It can mimic the voice of any person and will often play tricks either maliciously or as a joke, depending on its mood. Trasgus survive well out of doors, and yet it is unknown what they do out there. Humans only see them in their houses at night. It is not unknown what they eat, but they'll never eat a homeowner's food. Trasgus are fond of animals and have the ability to soothe them. They will charm and befriend any animal in your home. How to attract? Trasgus will only come to live in an older house. Newly constructed houses will be very unappealing to them. Also, small houses will make them feel suffocated. They seem to have a strong desire for space and fresh air, which is why they spend most of their time outdoors, and will only come to live in large and spacious houses. The more your rooms simulate the out of doors, the more likely Trasgus will come. So a bunch of large rooms with high ceilings will do nicely. It is not known why Trasgus like old houses, but they seem to love a sense of history as well as quaint or beautiful architecture. An old Victorian mansion or colonial manor house is the perfect place for a Trasgu. Once you have the Trasgu settled in, however, it will quickly become attached to your family. After that, it will follow you anywhere, even if you move to a small, newly constructed house. It won't like it and may become more testy and troublesome, but it will not abandon your family. There is really no other way to attract Trasgus except to own the type of house they prefer, and those who buy old mansions often find that a resident Trasgu has already set up residence. But more likely, the Trasgu will have followed the previous owner to their new residence. Although it is not hard to attract them, it is not recommended that any homeowner try to attract Trasgus, as they are often more trouble than they're worth, and will often be very hard to get rid of once they have latched themselves onto your family. There are many more beneficial spirits you could seek instead. Benefits. Trasgus actually offer few benefits. They are not very helpful to humans, apart from providing you with a strange and mostly innocuous new member of the family. If you have befriended your resident Trasgu, then it may do household chores at night, such as cleaning dust or polishing surfaces. It especially likes to shake out dirty rugs and curtains, which it will always shake outside. It enjoys polishing floors, especially if they are pretty, such as marble or highly decorative wood. It will ensure your floors are always gleaming. Such a Trasgu is somewhat helpful, but you never know when the nervous and moody Trasgu will suddenly lose its mood and decide to make a lot of noise instead, keeping everyone awake. There are no guarantees with a Trasgu. There is one situation, however, where they are helpful. Trasgus usually travel alone, but sometimes, especially if you are very good to them, a second Trasgu will enter your home. This will always be a member of the opposite sex. In this case, you will have a Trasgu couple in residence. It is not known if it is love that does it to them, but a mated pair of Trasgus will be much more good-natured than a solitary one. They will not bother you much, presumably because they are preoccupied with each other, and they will not disturb you with horrible noises. They will likely clean your house every night, and when they talk to you, they will be very considerate. These unions almost always produce a baby Trasgu, which will be kept in the house at all times. Homeowners with a baby Trasgu in residence report rarely seeing their house spirits and only occasionally hearing the faint sound of a baby's cry. This cry seems to come from all directions, and it's impossible to locate the infant. Eventually, the parents seem to vanish and only the young Trasgu remains. It is assumed the couple, having made a new family, no longer need your family. But they always leave their offspring in the care of the homeowner when they reach a certain age. It is not known why this is, but this leads to one of the strangest and most miraculous aspects of the Trasgu. It is thought that helping a young Trasgu when it has been left to fend for itself in your home will bring an incredible blessing to the homeowner. If the young Trasgu has been sufficiently taken care of, it will grow up to be a strange angelic creature called the Shining Trasgu. It will protect the homeowner from all forms of physical harm, but only when they are in the house or surrounding property. It will appear physically whenever a threat appears. This sounds unbelievable, but more than one homeowner has confirmed these details. One homeowner who was blessed in this way called it something like a guardian angel come down to earth, manifesting in a very physical sense to shield the human from harm. It is about the size of a Trasgu, but glows with a bluish light and carries a flaming sword. This rare miraculous boon is the only truly significant benefit that can be acquired from dealing with Trasgu. If you are not kind to the child Trasgu, there is no indication you will be cursed. In such a case, the nervous little spirit will simply run away forever. Risks. The Trasgu can be a real nuisance sometimes, and its nervous nature makes it moody and unpredictable. Although it is not actually dangerous like the Bogart or an angry domovoi, it can be such a nuisance that it becomes impossible to live with. The Trasgu will enter your home at night, and if it is in a bad mood, either from ill treatment or from its own moody disposition, it will smash dishes, spill water, and make all manner of noise, scratching on the walls and throwing things around the room. But if the homeowner gets up to investigate, they will find everything as it was before. It is unknown how the Trasgu does this, but it is thought they merely mimic these destructive noises and never actually disturb anything. The purpose is to annoy the residents and make certain they know about its dissatisfaction. It is not actually interested in destroying anything. It is thought that a Trasgu will always see itself as part of the family. So it sees the house as its own and so feels no desire to destroy what it sees as its own property. Apart from such nuisances, the Trasgu will often be overly sociable and try to talk to the residents of the house while they're asleep. This will often be the source of friction between a family and a Trasgu. Chatty nocturnal Trasgus often annoy sleeping residents and cause the sleepy victim to curse, shout, or otherwise offend the Trasgu. If such an incident occurs, it is likely the Trasgu will proceed to have a tantrum and keep the entire family awake with a wide range of deafening noises. Some Trasgus are more considerate than others, but they are all prideful beings who can easily have their feelings hurt. Although essentially harmless, their bruised ego may cause them to form grudges against certain family members, which will often last many years. Finally, Trasgus don't like other house spirits and will automatically confront and threaten any spirit that tries to enter the home. This makes it impossible to attract any other, more beneficial house spirit until you have first gotten rid of the Trasgu. Most house spirits won't bother trying to oppose the Trasgu because the Trasgu will tell them he's a family member and so give the impression that the family doesn't welcome the intruder. Only hobgoblins may try to oppose the Trasgu since they don't care about the family, but only a very large group of hobgoblins would be able to successfully drive off a Trasgu because it is larger, scarier, and much stronger. Given all these potential problems and the few benefits, you may well want to get rid of the Trasgu. The good news is, that is a lot easier than you may think. Although you would think it is hard to get rid of a stubborn creature who follows families everywhere they go, that stubbornness can be used to your advantage. If you talk to the Trasgu and give it an important task, such as planting a tree in cement or squeezing water from a stone, it will attempt to fulfill your request. The Trasgu is full of pride and believes it can do anything. But some glitch in the Trasgu mind makes it incapable of seeing that a task is beyond its powers. It will try to squeeze water from a stone, and when it has exhausted itself in the effort, it will be too ashamed to face you again. Rather than admit defeat, it will run away and find a new home to occupy. A popular method takes advantage of the Trasgu's bizarre anatomy. If you ask a Trasgu to bring you a handful of grain or water, it will try to do so, but the holes in its hands will prevent it from holding anything like that. As a result of this failure, the Trasgu will slink away. But, given the individuality of Trasgu, this method won't always work. If they like the family enough, they may be satisfied to make an excuse or come up with some other way to divert your mind and make you forget your request. It is recommended that you tailor your solution to the personality of your Trasgu. There will always be some way to trick it by exploiting the weakness in their characters. But some families have tried for years before they were able to shake their self-appointed family member. They are notoriously tenacious. There is an old legend of a couple who left their home because of a Trasgu. On their way to the new home, the woman asks her husband, "Have we left anything?" The Trasgu, following them, answers, "You have left the lamp, but I'm carrying it."